quote you, you say that UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. And it's the burgeoning I want to talk about today. I'd like you to discuss, why do you feel like there is such a proliferation of UFO activity at this time?
Well, if we go to 1947 with Kenneth Arnold, and Arnold is flying his I think it's a single engine Cessna up around Mount Rainier, and he sees these, I think it's 5 or 6 craft. It's a flotilla. It's a group of UFOs, unlike anything he's ever seen, going way faster than they should be, and they look like this. They look like 2 saucers. I want to thank Sean Green for making this and giving it to me. It's a great prop. They look like two saucers, inverted and placed upon each other. This is where we get the verbiage flying saucer in our lexicon. This is 1947. So there was a wave of sightings that happened in 47. Of course, a couple of weeks later, we had the Roswell incident, and that was served as the basis, as we talked about just before you had me on. There's 2 films on the Roswell incident, and since then, it's just been burgeoning. It's just, if you go and look at a graph, a chart, especially after the year 2000, it starts going through the roof. They're everywhere. And so something is up, something is happening. It's not just 1 or 2 sightings. If you know where to go, if you know where to look, and now it's there, but the mainstream media now is all over this stuff. If you, almost daily, there's a report. A lot of the reports are old news, but it's everywhere. The mainstream media has taken this up. Tucker Carlson was the one who sort of broke the story, even though the New York Times broke it. I think 2004, 2005, 3, somewhere back in there. Nobody paid any attention to it. And then Tucker in 2017, he was the one that had command of David Fravor on his show. And Fravor said, right in front of the camera, whatever this was, whatever this tic-tac shaped object was something not from this world. That opened the floodgates, in my opinion. And here we are, 7 years later now, which is a long time, really, when you think about it. A lot of water under the bridge. The congressional hearings, Nancy Mace looks at David Grush, who's a whistleblower. This is the halls of Congress. It's not coast to coast with George Norrie or some faraway podcast in Thailand. This is our government, your government, our government, the halls of Congress. And David Grush is a whistleblower. And Nancy Mace from South Carolina is interviewing him. And basically she, asks him, well, how many of these UFOs were retrieved? And he goes, well, I've already kind of stated that. I'm not going to state it here. So he kind of brushes by the question. Then she asked the $64,000 question. Were there any bodies recovered from the crash? Grush looks up at her like this and says, yes, we retrieved biologics. Mace is obviously taken aback.
Yeah.
And Nancy Mace's follow-up question is, were they human or non-human biologics? Once again, Grush looks right up at her. If you're bald-facing, if you're doing this, you're ducking the question. He looks like right up at her and states on the record that these recovered bodies were non-human biologics. And that, you would think my phone would be ringing. I think I had a couple of emails. That's it. The people were so asleep.